Unofficially, Putin could be a billionaire. According to one report, he could be the richest person on earth. His net worth almost $200 billion.
Vladimir Putin's business holdings exposed, a deep dive. Vladimir Putin's secretive business empire has long been a subject of speculation and intrigue. But in 2024, new revelations have come to light, exposing the true extent of his financial empire. How did Putin amass such wealth, and what does it mean for Russia and the world? Vladimir Putin, Russia's enigmatic leader, has held power for over 2 decades, shaping the country's political landscape and economic policies. While his political maneuvers are well documented, his personal business holdings have remained shrouded in mystery. In 2024, a series of investigative reports and leaked documents provided unprecedented insights into Putin's financial empire. This video delves into these revelations, exploring the methods through which Putin has amassed his wealth, the structure of his business holdings, and the broader implications for Russia and the global community. Background on Putin's wealth accumulation. Vladimir Putin's rise to power in the late 1990s coincided with a period of significant economic upheaval in Russia. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Russian economy underwent rapid privatization, leading to the emergence of oligarchs who accumulated vast wealth. Putin, initially an outsider to these elite circles, quickly positioned himself as a key player by leveraging his political influence. According to a 2024 report by the Anti-Corruption Foundation, FBK, Putin's wealth accumulation began in earnest during his tenure as deputy mayor of St. Petersburg in the early 1990s. The report details how Putin established connections with influential businessmen and used his position to facilitate lucrative deals, often involving state assets. These early ventures laid the groundwork for his later financial empire. Main point 1. Control over the energy sector. One of the most significant revelations of 2024 concerns Putin's control over Russia's vast energy resources, particularly oil and natural gas. This sector is a cornerstone of his wealth and political power. Companies like Gazprom and Rosneft, although publicly traded, operate under the heavy influence of the Kremlin. The study highlights how Putin has installed loyalists in key positions within these companies, ensuring that profits are channeled into entities linked to him. Putin's strategy in the energy sector involves a blend of direct control and strategic alliances. The 2024 study by Transparency International revealed that Gazprom and Rosneft, 2 of Russia's largest energy companies, have boards of directors filled with Putin's close associates. These companies have been instrumental in securing lucrative contracts and expanding Russia's energy influence globally. For instance, Gazprom's pipelines supply natural gas to several European countries, making these nations dependent on Russian energy. This dependency gives Putin significant leverage in geopolitical negotiations. The 2024 research also uncovered that profits from these energy companies are siphoned off through a network of offshore accounts and shell companies, effectively laundering the money and concealing its origins. Main point 2. Real estate and lavish properties. Another critical aspect of Putin's wealth is his extensive real estate portfolio. Lavish properties in Russia and abroad have been linked to Putin through a series of shell companies. The Panama Papers and Paradise Papers leaks have previously hinted at these connections, but 2024 research by the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, OCCRP, has provided concrete evidence of property acquisitions in countries such as Switzerland, Spain, and the UK. The OCCRP's 2024 report details several high-profile properties tied to Putin. One such property is the so-called Putin's Palace on the Black Sea coast, a sprawling estate with luxurious amenities, rumored to be worth over $1 billion. The report provides documents tracing the ownership of this estate back to shell companies linked to Putin's inner circle. In addition to properties within Russia, Putin's real estate empire spans several countries. In Switzerland, the report highlights a luxurious villa on Lake Geneva, owned through a complex web of offshore entities. In Spain, Putin is linked to a high-end property in Marbella, a popular destination for wealthy Russians. These properties are not just status symbols but also strategic investments, allowing Putin to park his wealth in stable foreign markets. Main point 3. Banking and financial networks. Putin's financial networks extend into the banking sector, where he has stakes in several major Russian banks. The Central Bank of Russia, under Putin's influence, has been instrumental in directing favorable loans and financial instruments to businesses associated with him. A 2024 study by the Carnegie Moscow Center outlines how these financial arrangements help launder money and obscure the origins of Putin's wealth. The Carnegie Moscow Center's 2024 study highlights the intricate financial web that supports Putin's empire. Several major Russian banks, including Bank Rossiya and VTB banks, are identified as key players in this network. These banks facilitate the transfer of large sums of money through complex transactions designed to evade detection by international regulators. One of the methods uncovered involves the use of mirror trading, a technique where identical trades are executed on two different exchanges simultaneously, effectively moving money across borders without raising suspicion. This method has been used to funnel billions of dollars out of Russia and into offshore accounts controlled by Putin's associates. The study also reveals the role of the Central Bank of Russia in this scheme. Under Putin's influence, the central bank has provided favorable terms and overlooked regulatory violations for banks involved in these transactions. This complicity ensures that Putin's financial network operates with minimal risk of exposure or legal repercussions. Impact on Russia. The exposure of Putin's business holdings has profound implications for Russia. Economically, it underscores the extent to which corruption and cronyism have permeated the highest levels of government. The concentration of wealth among Putin and his inner circle has exacerbated economic inequality and stifled competition, limiting opportunities for ordinary Russians and independent businesses. Politically, the revelations have intensified calls for greater transparency and accountability. The 2024 studies indicate growing public dissatisfaction with the endemic corruption and the lack of political reforms. Protests and opposition movements have gained momentum, demanding an end to the oligarchic control of the economy and greater democratic freedoms. The international community's response has also been significant. Western governments have imposed additional sanctions targeting individuals and entities linked to Putin's financial empire. These measures aim to increase pressure on the Kremlin and signal a commitment to combating corruption and human rights abuses. Global implications. Putin's financial networks extend far beyond Russia's borders, impacting global markets and geopolitical dynamics. The 2024 research highlights several key global implications. 1. Sanctions and economic pressure. The exposure of Putin's business holdings has prompted a renewed focus on sanctions. The United States, the European Union, and other Western countries have expanded sanctions to include more individuals and entities connected to Putin's wealth. These measures aim to curb Russia's economic power and limit the Kremlin's ability to fund its geopolitical ambitions. 2. International money laundering. Putin's use of offshore accounts and shell companies has drawn attention to the broader issue of international money laundering. The 2024 studies have highlighted how these practices undermine global financial stability and facilitate corruption. Efforts to strengthen international cooperation and enhance regulatory frameworks are underway to address these challenges. 3. Geopolitical tensions. The revelations about Putin's financial empire have heightened geopolitical tensions. Western countries view the exposure as a means to weaken Putin's grip on power, while Russia perceives it as an attack on its sovereignty. This dynamic has exacerbated existing conflicts and fueled a new era of Cold War-like tensions between Russia and the West. Public and media reactions. The public and media reactions to the exposure of Putin's business holdings have been intense and varied. In Russia, state-controlled media have largely downplayed the revelations, framing them as part of a Western conspiracy to undermine the country. However, independent media outlets and social media platforms have provided extensive coverage, fueling public outrage and calls for accountability. Internationally, the revelations have dominated headlines, prompting widespread condemnation and calls for action. A 2024 survey by the Levada Center found that 70% of Russians were aware of the reports on Putin's wealth, with 55% expressing disapproval of the corruption within the government. This reflects a growing awareness and dissatisfaction among the Russian populace. The exposure of Vladimir Putin's business holdings in 2024 marks a significant turning point in the understanding of Russia's political and economic dynamics. The revelations have highlighted the extent of corruption and cronyism at the highest levels of government, with far-reaching implications for Russia and the global community. As the world grapples with these findings, the future of Putin's regime and its impact on global stability remain uncertain. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the revelations of Putin's wealth? How do you believe this will impact Russia and the global community?